Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Another exciting show and definitely another exciting guest. Let me take you down a journey. Just imagine, if you will, with me, haters. And haters come in all shapes, forms, sizes, the whole 9 yards. And sometimes we don't even know why people hate. Some people say they're born haters. I don't think they're born haters. I think haters become haters because things that they miss in their life or the inability to look deeper and decide what is it going to take to make me happy. But let's go deeper. How about one day you wake up and your life suddenly changes and you die? Massive trauma to the head, a motorcycle accident gone wrong, then coming out, and now you got to deal with, like I said again, the human factor. You get back into society and you deal with what you thought is a lifelong partner, and it turns out to be a nightmare from hell. And you still tell yourself, you know what, if I can get out of this one situation, I can get out another. This lady has gone through all of this. And I'm truly excited that she has taken the time to come on the platform on the Andre the Beast Crayton show and share such an outstanding story of not only resilience, but the beast mindset that I talk about so often. All the way from Tennessee. Let's welcome Miss Sabrina Fishers to the show. How you doing, Sabrina?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm always good. It's an early morning for me and you, and we're about ready to have some emotional fun today. Before we get started, tell the viewers a little bit about you before we get into our story.
Well, I am, best way to describe it. I wake up every day to make sure that I make the best of my day. Um, I like to think of myself as everybody's little ray of sunshine.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a single mother to an amazing 10-year-old little guy. I'm an online fitness coach. I help with mental health and substance abuse here in Tennessee. Um, and I just have a heart to give back and be the hands and feet of God.
That is so beautifully put. Let's go deeper into your story, a story that you probably didn't even see happen. And this was 15 years ago today. And I'm glad that you are here with us. Congratulations to your son. Today is his birthday as well.
Well, the accident was August 8th, 2010, and today's my
2010.
son's.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that 15? That's almost 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. It was 15 years ago in August.
Tell me a little bit about that particular day.
So, I was actually in my car, and I stopped by an area, which I ride myself,
Hmm.
and I stopped by somewhere and where a bunch of friends were on their bikes, and they wanted to go down. We were downtown Nashville, and they wanted to go down the street to Chili's. No, it was TGI Fridays to go eat. It was either a Friday or a Saturday night, so parking was crazy, and somebody said, "Well, just ride down there with me and you can leave your car here."
Hmm.
So we're literally going 2 miles down the road, if that. So we go, we have fun, we have dinner, and I remember standing on the sidewalk in front of TGI Fridays, and there was a group of people that were leaving, and I was going to put my helmet on. I was like, "See y'all in a minute." And that's the last thing I remember. Like, I remember doing this. That's the last thing I remember. And what I've been told, like the next month of my life that I tell you about, it's all stories to me because I don't remember any of it. But we were going down the road, and probably 2 or 3 red lights down from TGI Fridays, a drunk driver turned out, like, was turning left, and they didn't see the bike, and we hit it, we T-boned it. So they think that the first point of impact that my head hit the person in front of me, like, because I was riding on the back, that it hit right here, and they think that it knocked me out, like, unconscious,
Hmm.
because when the bike went up, it catapulted me and threw me 50 feet, and I landed directly on my head, and it cracked the helmet and my head open. And I remember, oh, well, not remember. Well, there were stories told to me that people were even coming still down to TGI Fridays. They didn't realize we left. That were so heartbroken the next day because they passed and they saw a white sheet laying over a body, and they didn't realize it was me until the next day. But I don't know, they revived me somehow at the scene, and I posted about my story on social media,
Mhm.
and a firefighter actually reached out to me. He's like, "You're her." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, I'm the firefighter that had to go in the ambulance with you because it was just the highest level of whatever."
Mhm.
And they said that I was so distraught because they had to like contain me, like hold me down. Like he had to forcefully hold me down because like I was so out of it
Yeah.
that I didn't realize the trauma. And they had to put me in a medically induced coma because there was so much swelling on my brain. But luckily the helmet cracked and my head cracked open too because that allowed the pressure to release some. If the helmet and my head wouldn't have cracked open, we
Okay.
probably wouldn't be talking today. Um, and I remember my doctor telling me, my primary doctor,
Mhm.
that he said that Vanderbilt told him like we're just waiting on her because they didn't expect me to make it. And he told him, he said, "You don't know her." He's like, "Just watch." And I spent like a month in the hospital. I had to relearn how to walk. I don't remember any of it.
Right.
Um, but I had to relearn how to walk. And my family told me that when I did come to, it's almost like I re-grew up because when I would say things, it would be like from elementary school.
Mm.
And then like quit like over time, like it would get a little bit older and I would talk about things all the way down to where earlier that year, my little cousin who had Down syndrome had passed away.
Mm.
And they said that somebody came in the room one time and I said, "No, no, no, don't shut the door. Grant's coming." And it broke their heart because they thought they were going to have to tell me again that he had passed. But I just gradually almost like aged over time in a very short amount of time.
Mhm.
Um, and then like I literally have maybe two, like 5 or 10 second memory from being in there.
Mhm.
And then after I was released, I had to be under 30-day, 24-hour supervision. So I had to stay with my family.
Right.
And then a month after that, I went back to work because they told my family, they're like, if she does make it, she'll never be a banker again. I was a banker at the time.
Right.
They said she has too much brain damage. And they said she may never live alone. She may need help. And 3 months after the accident, I went back to work. And within 2 months of the accident, I think that's what it was, good, like right at the beginning of the next year, I got a promotion to an assistant branch manager.
Wow.
And my dad said, "You only did that because the doctor said that you couldn't." I said, "You're exactly right." I said, "My God, you're the only person to
Yeah.
ever tell me what I can and can't do."
What do you think was the changing factor? Because most people being and I'm glad you're here with us. Let me first say that. But let me go back before I start answering a lot of questions here. You was on the motorcycle. Were you guys I know you don't remember, but the story, were you guys driving, like taking off? And more importantly, what happened to the other guy? You said that the impact, according to the story, you hit the other guy. What happened to the other guy? The other
So
person?
he had some like injury like around his legs from like the impact.
Uh-huh.
But he was actually discharged from the hospital that night.
Wow.
or or the next morning because we were there for a few hours. um but the driver, her and her friends like jumped out of the car and ran on foot too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they were drinking and driving. They pretty much caused that the situation to happen, and they flee the
yes,
scene?
yes,
Were
and
they
luckily
teenagers? Were they teenagers?
they were college students at Vanderbilt.
So I'm pretty sure they're incarcerated probably now.
They're not, they did get in trouble. um but luckily there was a police officer who really cared, like he worked the accident, and I was able to talk to him later on down the road, like when there was a court date, and he told me that she had Her story was that at her apartment, that she left her phone in her car with the car running, and somebody stole her car. Which the police went, he already knew who it was because of the descriptions,
Right.
and he was so smart. He let her tell her story and sign the police report
Yeah.
because, believe it or not, causing an accident like that is not a felony.
Really?
But filing a false police report
Is a
is.
felony.
So he knew what he was doing, and he told me that. He
Yeah.
let her tell her whole story, and he let her sign that police report. He said, "Now I want to ask you a question." And he kind of described what happened that night. He said, "I'm gonna give you one chance to tell the truth." And she broke down.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know, this is a phobia of mine. I don't mind drinking with people. I don't mind people having a drink. What I don't tolerate is knowing when to say enough.
Right.
That's the problem that I have. And I think in certain cases there should be stricter laws with that because you might not have been here
Yeah.
because of that. Even teenagers, I think the drinking limit needs to be more than 19 or 21 because you're not really capable, and you, more importantly, you don't know what type of traumas that you dealing with that alcohol can intensify. Now here's a
Right.
person that hit you, and like I said, this is called emotional intelligence. They freaked out.
Yeah.
They freaked out. Not saying that they're not compassionate, because I'm pretty sure it tore both of them up, not knowing if you lived or died. But it just shows you that the irresponsibility that can happen when you get behind the wheel and you drink.
Right. It impairs your judgment, period.
Now, what was the reaction of the guy that was on the bike with you as you was going through all this? Like, how did you get the accounts of what happened? If I guess his, because you said the motorcycle flipped, so it must have knocked him off. And
Well, it did this. So, like, it threw, I think it like threw him into the bike in the car, and
yeah,
it catapulted me over.
I got you.
So the stories, like everything I know is such a. I still to this day, because on my anniversary I post about it. Still to this day, somebody will tell me something that I didn't know. Like, "Oh, I visited you in the hospital," or, "Oh, I remember when I did this," and I was like, "I had no idea." So it's still so crazy because it's literally a month of my life. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Let me ask you a question. We talked a little bit, and you mentioned the word died.
Hmm.
Were you pronounced dead on at any point of this trend that going through this?
Well, at the scene, they had to revive me because, like I said, they had me covered in a white sheet,
That's what I was getting
which,
ready to say. That I was trying to get to, because you said that people went by you and there was a white sheet, so you was dead on the scene.
yes.
Wow.
And again, I didn't know that until the friend who said, like, later on, that they were driving by to come meet us there, and they were like, "Oh my god, we passed this accident," and he was praying like, "Oh my gosh, there's a white sheet, somebody died." And then he said the next day he found out it was me, and it tore him up because he was like, "Oh my god, like, I had no idea."
Wow. You got to forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just speechless. 'Cause in my mind, I see this, and I'm asking myself, like, how could this have even happened? But things happen. You managed to pull out of it when all odds were against you. Why do you think that was?
Because my purpose wasn't filled yet. And it's crazy. When I bought a motorcycle, my parents were so against it. And they're like, "You're going to kill yourself on that thing." I said, "I'm not going home until God's ready for me." I was like, "I'm not going to go jump out of a plane without a parachute." I was like, "But until God's ready for me, He won't call me home." So I do remember after I got my memory back, my parents got so mad at me. I was like, "See, I told you."
Now, what kind of motorcycle did you buy? And how old were you when you got the motorcycle?
Oh gosh, I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know how to ride. But
Really?
I ran. It was a Valentine's Day, I was single, I'm always single on Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh, look, a motorcycle store. Let's just go in there and look. And I saw something that was black and red. Like, I love those colors. I was like, it's pretty. I want to buy it. And I said, I'll buy it if y'all get it to my house because I don't even know how to start it. I sure did. And but it was like a Ninja 636, which I over time upgraded myself to writing like 1000s and everything else. But
So who
yeah,
taught you how did you learn how to ride? You just had somebody just bring your motorcycle and didn't know how to ride? Did you take lessons? How did you
I did. I went to a motorcycle class and learned. And I love it. I seriously do still love it because it gives you like this escape. Like for me, when I'm on a motorcycle,
Yeah,
like it's tunnel vision. It silences out the rest of the world. And I love it, but I love my son more. So I don't ride anymore.
right,
I might ride from time to time, like I don't own one anymore,
right. Now
but I know how quickly I can be pulled away.
yeah. Now was did you have your son during this accident during this point in your life?
No,
Okay.
no.
So when did that little
My
blessing
son was born in 2010.
so
I mean, not 2010, 2015.
2015? It's
Mhm.
funny you mentioned motorcycles. I remember buying a Ducati and I was leaving the gym and it was on a Sunday. I was leaving the gym. I had my shirt off, had on some workout pants, and turned into my apartment complex. And somebody just came out of nowhere,
Mhm.
and I was in the air. This just shows you how quickly things happen on a motorcycle. It was
Yeah.
like I can see myself hovering in slow motion.
Yeah.
I didn't have a helmet on, which was stupid on my part because I just figured
Uh,
I was around the corner from the gym.
yeah.
And before I knew it, I was on the ground sliding.
Yeah. Road rash.
Yeah. And you know what was so funny? Nothing really happened to the bike.
Well, when this accident happened, I had on shorts,
Yeah.
a zip up t-shirt and high heels.
Wow.
And I only have one scar on my body you can see, and it's on the top of my left foot
Mhm.
because I don't know what it was. And I still to this day don't know, but something was enlarged in my foot.
Wow.
And because the damage was my head, like literally when I say I did this and landed on my head,
Mhm.
like I have no road rash.
It's lucky you had your helmet on.
Either that part.
Yeah, that was a sure blessing that you did. How long what was the most difficult part of the recovery for you? Because you it could be a blessing that you don't remember a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't an easy road, with neurological damages that they think might have happened, memory loss, bodily functions to some degree, learning how to motor skills. I mean, what
Yeah.
were some of the most difficult challenges for you?
The one I remember, because again, I don't remember going because I was in Stallworth rehabilitation for like 3 weeks,
Right.
having to do like I said, memory recovery and relearning how to walk. But the one I do remember is when I was at home with my father, because I went and stayed with my father for a month afterwards because I had to be under 24-hour supervision.
Yeah.
Is I had short-term memory loss, and I remember having it, and it was so bad, Andre, like, so bad. Like, we could be sitting here talking, if I heard just the smallest, like, pin drop over there, I could do this and turn back, and I wouldn't remember what we were talking about. And my father, bless his heart, and I love him, but he's an interrupter. He doesn't care if you're talking. So I would be doing something and he would come interrupt and it would break me because it would remind me because I didn't know if I was going to get my memory back. I
Right.
didn't know it was going to be short-term memory loss. And I remember crying so many times at my dad's because him not intentionally doing it, he was just being himself, would interrupt a lot and it would make me like realize like I can't remember anything.
Mhm. How did you
That
wind up? How did you wind up overcoming that stuff? Because did you have to deal with the memory care unit more aggressively, knowing that your father had his, that's your dad. How did you manage to overcome that?
honestly, I think faith and trust in God. And even when I quote unquote graduated out of the Stallworth, the person I had been working with told me after I was like signed out, She said, "I truly believe that you," because they were amazed at how quickly I recovered from everything.
Mhm.
Because that 3 weeks in Stallworth was after being released from the hospital, like for my memory, anyways. And she said, "There's people who get told by doctors that they'll never walk again, so they never try to walk again.
Right.
They accept it." She said, "You didn't accept anything." She said, "If they told you you couldn't do something, you said, 'Watch this. Yes, I can.'" She said, "I think your mentality and your, perseverance is what made you get through this so strongly." Because she said, "You didn't let other people tell you what you could and couldn't do." And I told her, I said,
Right.
"My God will be the only one to tell me what he does and doesn't want me to do. If he doesn't want me to do it, I'll try." And he'll go, "No, sit down. You're not going to do this."
Sabrina, where was you have siblings, brothers and sisters?
It's a complicated answer. I'm the only one between my mother and father, but them separately, I'm the youngest of eight.
How did they take what was happening to you?
Um, I can't really remember, to be honest.
Okay.
I do know that family and friends told me, that it was the hardest thing in the world. One of my best friends at the time, which I ended up marrying later on down the road, and we're divorced now, but he still to this day cannot talk about it. Like, it's so crazy. The man I married would not tell me anything about that time because he said it was the hardest thing in the world he had ever had to go through because everybody thought I was gone, that I wasn't coming back.
Hmm. Let me go back a minute. Are you close with the 8
With the
siblings?
what?
Are you close to the 8 siblings?
One, because I also have a very strong boundary and like protecting my son and just
Right.
we'll just say it was a very toxic family growing up with a lot of things, and
Okay.
that's probably intel for a whole nother show.
What about
Um,
your mom? I mean, you say with your dad. Was your mom involved with your rehab emotionally at all?
um, my mom raised me, but me and my mom don't have a relationship, if that makes sense. Like, honestly, I don't really like. I know that she was around, but I don't remember her being around.
Yeah, you would think that, 8 stepbrothers or half brothers and sisters and a mom would just be like hands on, you know what I mean? And, you, it's just different. You're a female. I know you're staying with your dad, but learning how to do all these things again, you still need some guidance from a female's perspective because there's certain things that you're gonna need that a father just can't provide.
Luckily, I have an amazing stepmother that her and my father have been married since 2 months after I was born.
Uh-huh.
So I did have that motherly
Good.
care, but it was from my stepmother.
Good.
At least that I remember. I don't want to take away if my mother did do something,
Right.
but we'll just say that if she did, it wasn't impactful enough for me to remember, unfortunately.
Let's move forward a little bit. And thank you so much for taking time out this morning to come and share this beautiful story. You wind up getting into a situation that most women get into, men and women. Let me rephrase that: domestic violence.
Yeah.
What was that like, and how did you get out of that?
Um, it was like it was actually just a couple of years ago, and I s- this is the part about me trying to be the hands and feet of God and helping people is I saw red flags at first, but I was trying to love them through it.
Mhm.
And then just one night he had drank a lot and I ended up with a busted face. And I immediately called the cops and I never spoke to him ever again.
Does he remember
So
busting your
I
face?
I don't think he does. I don't know that answer honestly, but I do remember going to court and I took a picture because there were pictures that they took that night. Um, and I had printed them off. And the first time we met for mediation or whatever it's called, I told them I was like, "Give his attorney these pictures," and they said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes," because I know he doesn't remember. Because here's the thing is the night that it happened, he turned into a monster. There's no justification for it. But outside of that, he really was a good person. And it's not victim's remorse or anything. Like, I'm not going to take away that he wasn't a great person.
Mhm.
Like, I wouldn't have been with him if he wasn't. But there was just a lot of unhealed things within him that when he drank, that monster came out. And I knew that he didn't remember. And sure enough, once they showed him them pictures, like anything that we asked for or said, like, hey, this is what we are asking to be done, it was okay. They didn't even try to fight it. Cause again, I knew that he had, again, how we talked earlier about alcohol impairs judgment. Like, I'm positive he doesn't actually remember anything from that night.
You mentioned something, and I'm trying to just get a little clarity because I hear this from so many people. Even on my own, I've dated and I've seen red flags. Now, when I see flags, I'll be like, "Hey, I can't deal with you." You know what I mean? Because I'm not here to heal you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. You have to heal yourself.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm there now. I'm there now.
yeah, you have to heal yourself. I'm not knocking. I wasn't bought here to heal you.
Right.
To maybe inspire you, yeah, but that's a whole different ball game. You have to heal yourself. So you saw red flags, and you said, "I thought," because this isn't the first time I heard this from females, and it's so funny. I even know females that them trying to see them seeing the red flags, they still can't walk away. They try to justify reasons to stay in a situation and they never can come up with the conclusion. Like what were the flags that you saw? And more importantly, like why did you really stay?
Well, here's the best part is that you're going to love this. So the flags were withholding emotions and like emotionally shutting down. Like if something did happen,
Mhm,
it was just like withdrawing emotionally. It was never physical, it was never verbal, it was his actions. And I remember I was going on a vacation with my son for a week and he shut down emotionally. And I remember having a conversation with him going, "You know what? This week we don't need to talk. We both need to really think about where we're at in life, what we're wanting, what we're willing to do for ourselves as individuals to grow together."
mhm,
So when I came back, the day that it happened, it was a Saturday. That morning, I told him, we had a conversation. I said, "I think we need to separate." Like he lived with me. I said, "I think you just need to move out. Like we don't have to break up, but I think we need to take several steps back because I need you to work on yourself because you want to." Because we had talked over and over for a long time about him going to therapy, but he never did it.
mhm,
He never made the calls, and I wasn't going to do it for him.
mhm,
And I told him, I said, "I've come too far in my healing journey to go backwards to help you." Like I told him that the day it happened. And he begged me. He said, "I had this great night planned for us. Like it was like a piano bar and a nice dinner." He's like, "Please, please, please, just, I really have this night planned for us." And I said, "Okay, but if like the way things happen, if any of those things happen again, like I'm done. I can't do it." So I think me setting that boundary of going one more time and I'm done actually tipped the iceberg that night.
mhm,
So when the stuff started happening, I think in his head, I think my perspective, me analyzing it, I think that when he realized what he did, he got angry because he knew I was done, which I didn't say I was done that night. Like I was just like, I just want to go home. Like I tried to lay down in the bed and go to sleep. Like I wasn't arguing or anything.
so
And
when the accident when the violence happened, where was your son?
he had spent the night with a friend that night so that we could go to dinner.
Is it his son?
No,
Okay.
no.
How long did the abuse take place?
That one night. Like no, the actual physical was that night. Cause I'm that person that like I use this analogy that God had to thump me in the head to go stop, to walk
Was he
away.
verbally ever verbally? Because you said he shut down. So I'm trying to just understand this. Um, you figure that you setting the boundaries really set him off. But to me, there might have been other things that he might have done that really wasn't physically altercating. Does that make any
Right,
sense?
right,
Did he ever yell? Did he scream? Did he hit a wall? I mean, that's a lot of rage that's all of a sudden just to go off.
right, and that's what I'm saying, like, that I never saw that coming. Because if it would have been little things to add up to something that bad,
Yeah.
I would have never like, it would have never gotten to that. But there were things, like I said, emotionally shutting down, like, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave." Like, we had went to, oh, I can't Ridgeview, Georgia, I think that's what it's called. We had went for my birthday, and we went to dinner, and had drinks, and I remember him driving back, and he almost hit a tree because we were going, and I was just like, I was scared. At that moment, I was like, he drank a lot, and even when we got back, he just I don't I he was just withdrawing. He wasn't yelling. That's the crazy part. He was so calm, but it was the things he was doing and just shutting down. And I remember that night going, I want to go home. Like, I'm scared to be here because of how he just shut down. It was almost shut down to a scary moment.
Now,
I don't
had
know
you
how to
already
explain.
had you how long had you been out of your accident?
Oh gosh, so the domestic violence happened in 2023. The accident happened in 2010.
Okay.
So there was a huge gap. Like, from my accident, I had already been, recovered, gotten married, had a
Mhm.
child, bought a house, had a divorce, been divorced for a few years. And that was my first relationship since my divorce, too. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay single forever. Like,
So you wind up getting home and all of a sudden everything just went berserk.
it started downtown Nashville, and we actually got home separately. And it was, I don't know, like, do you wanna know the scenario that happened downtown?
Yeah.
So, we were out, we went to dinner, had drinks, we're going to bars, and again, he drank a lot, and I'm not saying that I drank, right? And I drank a lot that night, and we Ubered down there because we knew we were gonna be drinking, and I remember saying, like, "I'm ready to go home," and we had gotten to a red light at 5th and Broadway in Nashville. It's a very popular corner. And we were sitting there and we were waiting on an Uber, but the line was so long, the traffic was crazy. And he was like, I was pointing, I was like, well, there's all these ones right here. He's like, well, we got to wait on the one that I've ordered. It's up here around the corner. And I said, okay, my feet hurt. I'm just going to sit down. And there's an Apple store right there. And they have like a ledge on the side of their building. Like, literally, so from the sidewalk right here, like the edge of the street, like you can step down in the road. I just walked to the back of the sidewalk, turned around, and sat down. And remember, this is midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, downtown Nashville. I have heels on, a skirt, like, I have nothing. He told me not to bring my credit cards or anything, that he was paying for everything. And he lost my ID earlier that night. So I turn around and I sit down, like, literally, I just say, I'm just gonna sit down, my feet hurt. I turn around and he's gone. I couldn't find him anywhere. Like, I was like, "What?" And so again, a female by herself, downtown Nashville, drunk. Like, I'm not gonna say that I wasn't drunk, but I wasn't drunk to the point that I couldn't remember anything,
Mhm.
you know? And I'm, like, freaking out, and I'm calling him, back to back to back, won't answer the phone. I'm terrified. Like, what just happened? And again, everything was fine up until this point. Nothing was wrong. It had been a great night.
Mhm.
And I remember asking a Uber, or like a car right there, like, how much would you charge to take me home? And they're like $100. Well, guess what I didn't have at that time? I didn't have like the Uber app. I didn't know about any of that because I never used it. So I didn't, like, it
They
didn't
was gonna
register to
charge
me.
you $100 to take you
uh,
home?
right. So, like, at this point, like, I'm crying, right? Like, what do I do? And again, I had been drinking, so I wasn't in my right state of mind to think about things. And, like, a lot of my friends is like, they're mothers, they're single mothers, right? Like, I didn't think to pick up the phone and call a friend. I was thinking, "Oh my god, get me out of downtown Nashville." So, people are gonna say, "Sabrina, that was crazy." I really feel like it was God protecting me. I saw this truck with 2 younger guys in it, and I don't know why, but I was just like, Where are y'all going?" And they said that they were going like the direction where I was like, "Can you please take me home?" They saw me visibly upset. Was that the smartest thing to do? Was for a female to jump in a truck with two guys? Absolutely not. Okay. But again, I really feel like God placed them there.
Hmm.
But let me tell you, as soon as they had like a double cab truck,
Yeah.
as soon as I stepped in the back, he jumped in the back.
Who?
My boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And he was raging. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna go home with these guys, da 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 da, blah 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 blah." It's almost like he set me up to see what I would do. I don't know. But, like, at this point, these guys are just looking like, "What is happening?" And you can tell at that moment they just wanted to protect me
Yeah.
because they saw the situation I was in.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of the car, and I remember getting out. I was like, I was calling you." And he just screamed. And I remember just crying and crying. I remember that I got back in the truck because, like, that was the safest thing that I felt to do at the moment. And these guys like stopped at a gas station, let me use the bathroom, bought me a Sprite, and brought me home.
Did
Like
they
didn't
try
even
to tell him to de-escalate?
like I think that they were so scared. They were just like they were frozen. We all were. Like, what is happening? Because it was very like rage.
Okay.
And but then he got out of the truck. And but So they brought me home. Again, didn't even pull in my driveway. Very polite young men. That's why I said I really feel like they were God sent. Um, Pulled up, didn't even pull in my driveway. And I told him that I had cash at the house, that I would give him money for bringing me home. And I remember walking up the driveway, and I have video of it in my security footage
Mhm.
that I'm walking up the driveway, and he walks from in front of my house. Like he was sitting in the dark in front of the house. And he walked up so much that it scared me that I dropped everything.
This is your boyfriend.
Yes, and we
So
lived
how did he
together.
get home? How did he get to your house?
I'm assuming the Uber,
This is
but
crazy.
yeah. So I remember I came in the house, like as soon as I walked through my garage and into the house, my money was right here. And I took the money back out to the young man and I told him thank you. And I came back in, and I remember thinking, I can't do this. And I was just like, I went in the bedroom and I was putting on my night clothes, and he was like storming through from the closet to the bed, like just throwing things on the bed.
Mhm.
I didn't even say anything. Didn't even say anything except I can't do this tonight. That's all I said. And I remember I pulled up the covers and I got in the bed. I turned out the light, pulled up the covers and got in the bed. But apparently when I got in the bed, it knocked some of the stuff in the floor. And when he came in and turned on the light, he just started raging. Like I was terrified. Like when I say I saw a monster, and he just started picking up things and throwing things at me. And I was just like, stop, stop, stop. And I remember I kept telling people, I was like, it felt like he hit me in the face with a brick.
Wow.
And I remember something hit me and I did this and I just felt blood start going down my face. And I said, F this, I'm calling the cops. And he said, fine, I'll put my gun right here. So again, drunk person, gun, blood, terrified. I call the cops. They tell me, they're like, where is he? I said, he just because he was going from his car in the house, taking things out to his car.
Mhm.
And they said, can you safely get out the back door? And I said, yes. So I'm in the backyard in the dark crying, and they get there, um, or here, and they ask him like what's going on. He did they said, do you have a gun? And he said, yes. And they said, where is it? He said, in the house, he didn't even this is how drunk he was. He said it's in the house, in the bed, the nightstand by the bed. I didn't even know he had a gun in my house. Let's start there. But so they went in there, they said it's not there. And he said, oh, well, it's in my car. They searched his car, couldn't find it. Then they said something to me about it. And I said, he said that he put it on the dresser and they found it. Um, so yeah, I mean, like, again, it just all happened so quickly. And they couldn't figure out what hit me. His attorney tried to say it was maybe like a belt buckle because it gashed my whole eye open from here to here.
Mhm.
And I was like, "No, it really felt like he hit me in the face with a brick," but they could never figure out what it was because They thought my friends thought that he had done this before because by the time the cops got here,
Mhm.
other than the blood all over the bed and the floor and me, it looked like nothing happened. When I mean he cleaned up and it was probably 2 months after the court date, I was flipping my mattress on my bed
Mhm.
and I found a box of like game cards, like those word games like Mind Stimulate Me or
Yeah.
whatever. I found it behind my bed and it was covered in blood. So that's what hit me. I knew that it was something like a block.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you wind up he wind up being detained.
Mhm.
He got out on bond, I take it.
Yep. The next day.
You never brought it up until the day you guys went to court and he came through and now you guys um have separated. You have a son now. With everything, how has that changed your life now that you have a son? You had a son, you got away from the domestic situation, you recovered from the motorcycle accident. Today's your son's birthday. How was all that, everything that you've gone through, how has it made you today?
Honestly, the best mother that I could possibly be because it's taught me a lot and all of those things. And you've said it a few times is you've called me resilient. And it's so funny because I got into bodybuilding after the domestic violence because I said, I don't want to be called resilient anymore. I said, I want to be called strong.
Okay.
But because I was like resilience, like, hey, life put you through, but hey, you came out. I was like, I want people to see me as, resilient, but also strong,
Mhm.
not just so I chose bodybuilding because I was like, I want to put myself in a hard spot. Like, I don't want to be backed into a corner and have to fight my way out. And it really truly has made me the best version of myself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Because after going through that, I tried to go to therapy and they asked me, they're like, have you ever been diagnosed with PTSD? And I said, no. They said, we can't help you. We're going to refer you somewhere else. And I went through EMDR therapy and it taught me so much.
What is
And
what
even
is
when,
that? What kind of therapy is that real quick?
um, I can't remember what the acronym is, but it's like an emotional reaction therapy.
Mhm.
Because, when you have traumas like that, like you're triggered.
Right.
Like you trigger, and I still have them. I'm human,
Mhm.
especially I mean, because what you've heard of what traumas I've been through, like honestly, that's a small snippet of
Mhm.
things that I've been through. And it's taught me how to manage them, to not have anxiety over them, how to compartmentalize them just for the moment
Mhm.
until I have the emotional bandwidth to process them and
What's
to
the number
understand
one
them.
trigger what's the 3 biggest triggers for you? I think that's cool for people to understand. We all have those. That the thing is, do we have the emotional
Yeah,
insight to
intelligence.
deal
Yeah.
with it? What are your 3 big ones that you have to deal with?
Well, the scary part is you don't know you have a trigger until it happens.
Right.
So, but so far, and my son's father knows this because my son's father, we went through our own stuff. But what is when my son acts like his father, like puts me through the emotional and mental abuse. Well, not my son, but I went through a lot of that in my marriage.
Mhm.
Is when my son does those things that hurt me in my marriage, and a trigger. I don't even know what triggers it. I know the response is that I shut down. Like I'm the most loving, caring person I know.
Mhm.
But the minute that I feel that I'm about to be hurt, I turn off and I become very cold and I'm guarded.
Hmm.
And and also another trigger that I knew that happened was is being I don't know how to even describe them. But because it's like I can't really tell you what my triggers are, but I'm aware when I'm being triggered
Mhm.
and I have the knowledge and the confidence in it now that I can tell somebody like, "Hey, I'm not in a good place right now. Like
Yeah.
it's I need to process something. I need to come back to this in a while."
Well, that's pretty
So
mu Go ahead.
unfortunately, like honestly, when people have triggers, like it's not You can't tell somebody like, "Hey, don't do this, it's gonna trigger me,"
Right.
until you've been triggered.
Right. Right. Such a beautiful story, and I'm not gonna use the word resilience anymore. I'm gonna use the word
No.
I'm gonna use the word strong with you because you're definitely strong. How can the viewers reach out to you and support you and know about continuously knowing about your story? Because I'm pretty sure there's more to come with you.
Well, I share a lot of my story, the good, the bad. I'm very transparent on my Instagram, and that's Coach Sabrina Fisher. Um, I have a Facebook that's Coach Sabrina or Sabrina Fisher, and I have a TikTok. I'm not as present on there as I am Instagram, but that's Coach Sabrina F. But again, I try to share. I don't share my whole life, but I share the good, the bad, and the ugly because I realize that me going through these things, especially the domestic violence,
Hmm.
is that it's more common than what people realize, but people just don't talk about it because they're ashamed because they think it's their fault
Right.
because nobody else talks about it.
Hmm.
So I'm very vocal about the good, bad, and the ugly because I want people to understand like they're human and that we're not perfect. And I don't try to portray this social media fabulous life that I don't really have just to make other people envy it.
Mm.
I'd share my life to inspire people to keep going.
Sabrina, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to share such a strong story of resilience. Um, Definitely keep in contact because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to your story and your journey as we continue to move through this life. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe, like, share, click that button. All it takes is one click to make a difference in your life or somebody else's life. This has been, and like I said over and over again, another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.